This is Nomadic Trooper.
And Research Assistant.
And this is Let's Play Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. This is one of my favorite games of all time. It's one of the very first Fire Emblems that got me very into this franchise, and so I'm very excited to give this the proper due that it is needed. There's a lot of good Let's Plays out there, but most of them are centered around novelties like solos or duos, and as much as I love those, this one's going to try to use a bit of a different team. What I've decided to do for this run is Research Assistant has picked my team. I had a very small amount of influence on some of the characters we're going to use, and we're going to get going on that. We're playing on hard mode. Alright, there's an opening cutscene.
You had enough? Oh, missed.
Owned. I'm a little bit worried in these cutscenes due to the FPS drop, but hopefully they'll come through pretty well.
Missed. That song.
Ah, you're up. About time.
Is that supposed to be his mom?
Yes, spoilers, but that actually is his and Miss Mother, Grail's wife. Grail was the big strong guy that knocked Ike on his belly in that cutscene. So we're going to have to correct some of the settings here in a second. But basically, Grail here is training Ike, and he has some catchy one-liners sometimes. But so clearly the mother's not here, and that's a storyline point. So we'll get to that whenever it comes. This is some of my favorite music in the game. Anytime there's a determination or a need to get something done, this seems to play and just get you in the mood to go do some adventuring.
Whatever.
Ike is just trying to live up to his father's name. He doesn't know a whole lot about it. He just thinks that he's his father and he's really good, but turns out it's a little bit more than that. We'll find that out later too. Boyd here is part of Grail's mercenaries. Grail's mercenaries are obviously a band of mercenaries led by Grail, and so he is in there, and Ike is a trainee right now. It's kind of the whole point of this mission, training. And Mist is too young to join. So I'm talking about how Ike was out cold, and Ike's trying to act like he's some big important thing to Boyd, and Grail gets the bright idea that we're gonna let Ike spar with Boyd, because they should be closer to his skill level. So it's very hard to lose this opening mission. That's how a prologue should be. But right now we're going to leave animations on. We're going to turn that to fast, that to max. I'm blind, so I need a grid. Unit facing doesn't matter. Auto win turns is fine. I don't have a rumble feature. This is emulated, obviously, so no point for that. This game can be a little bit slow. We may turn the graphics off at a certain point, but we'll see. This is combat. You have your standard weapon triangle, and I really like the backgrounds here. They're very clean and crisp. You can see the characters very well. It's a very, very good game for the time. It's very unfortunate that it didn't get the critical acclaim that I thought that it should have. And so we did 9 damage to Boyd. Boyd did 8 to us, and since we did 9 twice, he died. Rip Boyd. But notice how he didn't fade away here. He just took a knee. That's important for. You'll realize later in the game, enemies die. They disappear there. If they're not supposed to die, then they just kneel over. So Boyd's running away like a sissy. Now Grail's like, round 2, time to beat up Ike a little more. And Mist is going to give us a Vulnerary. Vulnerary is a 3-use item that can heal 10 HP per use. And it's the only way to heal other than a healing tile of some variety or a healer using a healing staff on you. It's the only 2 ways. Or the only 2 other ways other than a Vulnerary to heal. You have other items as well. You have like an elixir is another type, and we're gonna try and not get confused with the successor game, which has a myriad of different healing items. But you know, the only way that you could possibly die if you don't heal after you fought Boyd. That's one way that you could possibly die. If you would have to attack Boyd like I did, and then take a retaliation, and then be at 3 HP like I was and not heal. If you do it where he attacks you, you can get out of this without ever using a healing item, but I just kind of want to do it quicker, so this guy got this out of the way. We're going to get our first level up of the game. I'm going to talk more about the units in the next level, but Ike just has very balanced level ups, or growth rates. And so getting that defense is key. Defense is the one that's actually kind of low. And so it's the same as his resistance growth, which is odd for a Fire Emblem game. Most times if you're a physical unit, your defense is much higher than your resistance. But Ike is one of those weird characters where it's not the case. And sometimes we'll have these little like powwows where basically all the sprites get on the screen at the same time. They're really cool because they're interacting. Sometimes like facial expressions or eye blinks. Be kind of weird. Boyd here says that he wasn't giving his all either. Ike had just said that his father was holding back, and Boyd probably was holding back some, but he doesn't have a skill that actually forces it. Grail had an ability in this called Discipline, which restricts his strength, which is why he was actually dealing less damage than Boyd. If Grail didn't have that skill, he would have wiped the floor just like previously. And Ike just smiled because he's on the team. He is a mercenary now. So, and that's going to be prologue, mercenaries. We're about 8 minutes. What are you thinking?
What?
We're going on to chapter 1 then. Research assistant didn't want to help me decide if we should move on to chapter 1 or not.
Bitch, I don't know why you didn't ask me before we started the video.
Demonetized.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is our mercenary fort, our home. You can see a lot of the sprites, a lot of the other characters that we get them to use throughout the game. This is the introduction of Titania, though. Titania is the deputy commander of the Ground Mercenaries, and so she's like the second in command. And she's telling Ike it's its first day. And of course, Grail's like, "You're late." I'm like, "Sorry, it's my first day on the job." So Titania and Grail are going to talk about there's apparently some bandits up in some village. Of course, it's bandits. It's mission 1. And we're going to take the brothers and Titania and Ike. And the rest of the people are going to go with Grail to take care of some other business. So the brothers are Boyd, and Oscar. Oscar here is a mounted lance knight, and Boyd is a fighter. Fighter is using axes. Titania is an upgraded paladin. In this game, you start with one weapon that you're primary in, like a lance knight, and then you get to choose a secondary one later on. She chose lances, so she's an axe main and a lance side. Boyd here is talking about how he has to show up very well being a professional because of Ike, and Oscar is the calm, sensible person trying to tell everyone to relax, and it'll be fine. A nice sweeping intro into the first level here, and it's called Cauldre. So we have 4 units to control here, and the goal is to seize the house there at the top. It's got the best enemy of the map. Well, best bandit enemy of the map. The rest of these dudes are typical fighters, myrmidons. Should be pretty easy fare, especially with Titania. So, as a part of the crew that we're going to be using Ike, who, as a bug in this game, if you don't start on easy mode, you get 4 iron swords for whatever reason. Note that we do not have a convoy yet, so we will lose anything that Ike picks up. So I'm going to immediately trade away a couple of his iron swords because he doesn't need them yet. Besides that, we're going to also be using Titania. Titania, like I said, is an axe main, lance side. She has the ability counter, which inflicts half the damage that she gets dealt to the enemy that dealt it to her on I think it's a skill-based proc. So she's pretty good. The skill, not that much, but so I'm going to have Oscar visit the village here. We do kind of need to move. He's going to give us a steel sword. That's kind of nice for Ike. It does weigh him down at the beginning, so we're not going to use it like that quite yet. But we're going to move Ike up here and attack. You saw the ×2 floating around there. It means that we have at least 4 more speed than the enemy, which means that we get to attack twice in one round. So I just dealt 8 to him twice. And we're going to do the same thing with Titania. Titania is also going to attack twice. We're going to use the iron axe because we don't need the power of the steel axe right now. You're going to very clearly see that Titania is much more powerful than all these enemies. She could pretty much solo this entire chapter. She seems to be what you would consider the Jagan archetype, getting that nice 1 experience for that whole kill. She's not quite a Jagan. She's what we typically call an Oife. She's similar to Seth in ability, and so he's like, burn down the villages. They called these mercenaries to come kill us. This bandit here's got to burn down that poor village. That's what happens if you don't get to a village first. And these villages have items, and you really want those items because they make the game a lot easier. So, any small bit of combat that Boyd and Oscar face here, I'm not in control of. So, I'm going to prevent them getting kills as much as I can. But if they're in just a little bit of combat, this isn't a duo right now. Like, I'm going to use everyone until I don't need to use them anymore. And so, that bandit normally goes for that house. That's why I was saying we needed to move fast, but I guess, yeah, you can just, get crit in the face and die, apparently. That's Ike's kill animation for a critical hit. There is another animation entirely for a non-critical. Got a little bit of lag here. I don't know what's going on. I'm running something in the background or what. Probably just couldn't handle that crit. That crit was too powerful even for the animations. So, I believe I got strength there. I'm sorry, I really wasn't paying attention due to that lag. But if he gets strength and defense early, we're going to be sitting very pretty. If he doesn't, this person's dead now. I think it doesn't like the crits. The crits are what's throwing it off a little bit. That's Titania's crit animation for a kill. More than likely, we're not going to see a non-kill crit animation for her just because she does too much damage to not kill someone on a 3 times critical. So, if I can pick up this kill here. Another nice thing about this game is features Canto, which allows horse people to attack and then finish the rest of their movement out. So for Titania, I really don't want to get this kill, so I'm just going to go over here, but I could simply go here, attack, and then move her here. But I'm just going to go grab this this item. So there's a Seraph Robe in here. So that's why you really want to move fast and get this. That's 7 HP that could be very useful later in the game or right now. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to unequip. You can unequip a weapon like this. And unequip Oscar here too. So hopefully that will mean that the mercenary there prioritizes attacking them, so I can get the kill to Ike. You want to feed as much to Ike as you can get early. His promotion isn't terribly late, but it's also just easier this way. I'm gonna move Boyd back, move him up. That's a kill. He has 9 HP. I'm not really worried about him dying, I don't think. He got that defense level up, so he should take even less damage. Yeah, this guy deals 14. I think Ike has 7 defense. I got 7 damage. We're good. Alright. I don't want to take too many hits though, so I'm going to go over here off this bandit here. Please don't crit. I really don't need a light right now. But we'll notate each character that comes as each character that research assistant picked actually gets selected or joins our team and gets played with after that. But till that point, we'll hold back a little bit. So fill a little bit of dead space. Like I said, Ike is a very well-rounded character. He's got good gross in just about every category you can imagine. So that's the good thing about him. Titania, the other one that we're using. Like I said, she doesn't gain much experience early, but she has good gross, like especially skill and speed, and I believe it's defense. She has very good gross in those stats. That is an awesome level of Ike. There's those balance stats coming into play. So he's got 2 defensive level ups. That's very good. I'm going to trade him the steel sword. So you really can't go wrong using Titania or any of the people here. Any of the ground mercenaries are generally the best characters for whatever they're trying to be used for. So I'm going to use a vulnerary here and take that this guy on. I gotta remember that I can actually use that. I've been playing a little bit of hard mode, Radiant Dawn, and they took that away for whatever reason. Alright, so Ike's gonna help deal with this guy. Thank you for how you moved. Oh, well, I guess he's got enough speed level ups to kill this guy too. Upright with a double attack. So Mike's doing very well right now. Okay. He just got back up to 4. I don't think this boss drops anything, but again, there's just no point for him to have 3 iron swords in his inventory, especially before you have a convoy. Yeah, I'm gonna make this attack, and you can see the boss quote. You're not gonna beat me today. You ain't good enough to take on Super Ike, especially level 4 Super Ike like I got. Just godly stats so far. 9 speed, 8 defense. He starts with 6. So he does not have a 66% growth in that, so I've gotten very lucky so far. But Oscar and Boyd, although they're not going to be used in this run, they are very good. Oscar can have strength issues to start out, but once you get past the initial stages, he'll pick up. And then obviously you can pick whatever side weapon you want. So if strength's your issue, you can pick axes, and then you have a much better weapon for strength. Oh, he actually did drop an iron axe. That's kind of important. Give that over to our secondary person. And Boyd, he's just a general use axe guy. And he's got balanced stats so far. Defense, he's going to lag behind, and speed, skill, he typically is a little bit slow, but I mean, if you get a little lucky, you'll be fine. And again, he is the only non-mounted axe user in this game, besides someone you get very late. And so if you want an axe user for like 80 to 85% of the game, you're going to be using him. If you don't want him mounted, you use Titania or another horse guy later if you want to. Anyway, so we're going to seize and clear the map. We coming up on 20 minutes, so we cleared out the bandits, completed our contract, and Ike here is saying he's got so far to go to catch his father. So, and Titania hints at, his father being something more than just a father, some great swordsman or something. And Oscar is gonna make fun of Boyd here for breaking his axe on his first mission. He was telling Boyd was telling Ike that he did okay for his first mission. Don't be too cocky there, Boyd. Anyways, that's gonna finish up this mission. And another thing that's gonna bring an end to this part. It's been a little bit over 21 minutes. So this has been a Nomadic Trooper
And research assistant.
and have a good day.